He is not guilty of those crimes. What happened in that Halderson's home? You just aren't going to know what happened.
I've watched a lot of true crime documentaries, but I have never seen a defense strategy like this one. No witnesses, no cross-examination, no alibi, just one closing argument that stated, "You don't really know what happened, do you?" This is the case of Chandler Halderson, and the defense's silence wasn't just strange, it was part of a much bigger plan. In this video, I'm going to break down the strategy behind this silence and how this was designed to plant the seed for an appeal. Welcome to Revealing the Crime, where we explore true crime manipulation tactics and the psychology behind criminal behavior, especially cluster B traits. This channel is for discussion and education, not diagnosis. Viewer discretion is advised, as some topics may be disturbing. Let's uncover the truth one case at a time. The case we're talking about today was the subject of this week's 2020, and what I'm going to do is go through an article that summarizes the case, and then I'm going to give you my theory on why the defense didn't call any witness and didn't cross-examine any witnesses. The article we're going through is titled "Wisconsin Parents Murdered Over College Lies: How Snapchat Helped Uncover the Truth." Chandler Halderson's parents paid the ultimate price as his lies unraveled. The article begins by talking about Snapchat's location tracking feature and how that helped investigators crack the gruesome double murder in Wisconsin, where a son killed his parents after he had been found out that he had been lying about many things, including going to college and having a job at SpaceX. The case began on July 7, 2021, when the 23-year-old Chandler reported his parents, Bart and Krista Halderson, missing from their home. He mentioned they were maybe going to a casino. However, it was known that Bart Halderson was actually pretty frugal with money and that they didn't really gamble. So this didn't seem like a plausible story. So already red flags were emerging that their son, who should know them and has been living with them, would have guessed that they had gone to a casino. The article continues, it says, when investigators checked the family home, they said they found both parents' cars still in the garage. A visit to the family cabin revealed no signs of recent use. A breakthrough came from a resident when the witness reported seeing Chandler backing up his car near a wooded area on July 5, 2021. She watched him walking from the wooded area and found that to be unusual. And then it was later discovered that that farm actually belonged to the family of Chandler's girlfriend, Catherine Mullender. Investigators asked Chandler and his girlfriend to come in voluntarily for interviews. Chandler was then arrested for allegedly providing false information to investigators. In the following days, he was held in jail on a tentative charge of first-degree intentional homicide. And then the investigation took another turn when Chandler's girlfriend provided that crucial Snapchat evidence. And it says here, its Snap Me feature, a personalized map that shares your location with friends on Snapchat, showed Chandler at the Wisconsin River on July 3, 2021. Following this lead and another tip from an eagle-eyed neighbor near the river, investigators discovered more human remains. This time, the remains belonged to Chandler's mother, Krista. I forgot to mention they found Chandler's dad, Bart's remains, a few days prior. Skipping forward in the article, we find out that a couple of days before this brutal homicide, Chandler's father, Bart, called the school that Chandler was allegedly attending. And a school counselor there said, "It's a normal phone call that we receive every day. This person was trying to request a transcript." According to investigators, Bart had been trying unsuccessfully for months to get the transcripts from his son, Chandler, and was becoming suspicious. Prosecutors said that this phone call was a ruse to see if Chandler was enrolled in college, but it turned out that Chandler had actually failed out. The prosecution also alleged that Chandler set up fake email accounts in an attempt to deceive his father about why his college transcripts weren't coming. Chandler made up fake emails with fake school employees to email back and forth about the transcript issue. And on that episode of 2020, one of the people they called was an administrator from the school, and this person was asked, do the emails that come from the school from the administration, are they Gmail email addresses? And this administrator said, no, they come from the school email address. And I just want to mention again that this witness was not cross-examined by the defense. The defense did not cross-examine anybody. The article continues. Prosecutors also argued that the SpaceX job Chandler claimed he had lined up was also a lie. As Bart got closer to the truth, prosecutors alleged that Chandler grew desperate. When Bart figured it out, Chandler realized he could lose everything. The story the prosecutors painted was that Chandler gave himself no other option. At trial, prosecutors told the jury that Chandler's motive was to prevent his lies from being exposed. The defense team challenged that theory. And during that closing argument, which was the only time that really the defense defended their client, was when they said all the state was able to prove is that Chandler is a liar and not a killer. Ultimately, the jury disagreed, and Chandler was found guilty on all 8 charges. He received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. So now let's talk about why the defense used this strategy. I think there's 2 reasons why they did it. The first is to ultimately say, you don't know what happened. It creates reasonable doubt because when the defense doesn't cross-examine or call witnesses, they're betting the jury will see the prosecution's case as weak or circumstantial, start to doubt the credibility or completeness of the state's narrative, and remember that the burden of proof is on the prosecution and not the defense. Essentially, the defense is saying you only know what the prosecution told you. Could someone else have done this? It's creating a shadow of a doubt. It tells the jury, hey, if there's even one other possibility, you can't convict. The other reason I think they did this was to eventually ask for an appeal. If the defense puts on no case, the prosecution can't cross-examine or refute any testimony. If the defense does nothing, they also can't be accused of mismanaging evidence or calling damaging witnesses. So I think the reason they did this is to allow for future appeal on the grounds of ineffective counsel. It's a chess move. It's basically saying we didn't lose because of our strategy. We lost because of ineffective counsel. In future appeals, Chandler could say, my lawyer didn't do anything. I didn't get a real defense. And you know what's really surprising? Guess what happened at the end of that episode?
Your Honor, I want to take this opportunity to state my intent to appeal my convictions. If there are any lawyers listening and willing to take on my appeal, take a moment to please reach out to me. It's not that I do not have feelings. It's that I was warned to not show them due to the scrutiny of this case. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's close out this video. And all of this now is in my opinion. I think that if the defense knows that their client is guilty or that the evidence is overwhelming, they may choose not to call witnesses who could be discredited under cross-examination or open the door to rebuttal evidence from the prosecution. So they go silent, and that silent suggests doubt. And if they aren't able to place doubt, it lays the groundwork for future appeals. I'm interested to know what you all think about this. I am not a lawyer. I do not know law. I've just watched a lot of true crime, and this was just incredibly surprising to me that the defense didn't call any witnesses, didn't even cross-examine the prosecution witnesses. I've never seen that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a small donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether it's emotional, physical, or simply hard to name. I will leave a link in the description of this video, and if you do need support, their information is on the screen right now. Every little bit helps, and it means a lot. If this video was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. I want to thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.